Let's talk about Tahdig. Welcome back to Sprung On Food. I'm your host, Kae Sprung. This season, we're talking about favorite foods, the history behind it, and the role it plays in the world today. Joining me today is actor, writer, and comedian Ruha Taslimi. Ruha, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, I am very excited you are here. You are a hilarious person. Your favorite food is Tahdig. I've got to know all about your relationship with this food, why it's your favorite. Tell me all the things.
Well, I mean, it's a perfect food. Tahdig is like, it's just, I'm Iranian, I'm Persian, so it's a staple for us. It is the treat at the bottom of the pot of the rice, and there's so many kinds, and just, yeah, growing up eating it. When you ask me favorite food, I was like, immediately, it's got to be Tahdig. And I don't even get to eat it all the time, but it's kind of this wonderful crispy bottom that has so much texture and flavor, and there's so many kinds. And honestly, I said it's the treat at the bottom of a pot of rice, but I'll crispy bottom almost anything and call it making it Tahdig style. So
okay, what would be another fave for you?
Like a pasta. Like
Okay.
like making a pasta Tahdig. Yeah. Leftover pasta Tahdig style. Better than original pasta, in my opinion.
Wow.
The sauce
Holy
already
cow.
mixed in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was good. That was going to be my clarifying question. Are we doing it sauce, sans sauce? What type of sauce? Whatever it's been mixed with, I'm assuming.
I mean, I guess I've never done it with a cream sauce of any kind.
Okay.
I
Maybe
don't-
something to
because-
try or not. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I've done it with, my favorites are like a meat sauce. I mean, I guess I have done it with like a vodka sauce, and that has cream in it. I haven't done it with like
Yeah.
a pure white creamy sauce. So any kind of tomatoey or meat sauce, it's so good. Letting the bottom get golden, like over a lowish to medium heat for some time with a little bit of fat.
This is amazing. And
Yeah.
this is a dish that's been kind of ever present in your life. Is there anybody in particular in your family or friends that is been put in charge of making it? Do you make it yourself? I mean, aside from the pasta
Yeah.
version?
Oh, I make it myself. I mean, I'm a dominant, like, Persian rice has a lot of different forms, and then I feel like there's two main categories, at least from what I was taught from my family, which is polo and kate. And polo is like the more elaborate version. Like there's you sort of like cook it twice, you parboil, then you like sift it back in, and you can mix stuff in when you're sifting it back in, and you can make like different types of tahdig with polo, like as far as leeks at the bottom or potato at the bottom or bread at the bottom soaked in maybe some yogurt and saffron, or and bread being like Persian flatbread, like lavash. No, we're not having any sourdough down there.
Not even during the pandemic with all that sourdough?
No. It's also nice because I am like, I deal with celiac, and it's like a food that wasn't taken away from me.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing. The bread Tahdig specifically has been taken away from me, but the rest haven't. And then kate, I've made polo, but it's not my go-to. That's more like if my uncle is cooking for the family, or my aunt, my mom, my grandma, who's no longer with us, was the big like cook growing up. She lived with us, my dad's mom. She came from Iran when I was like a baby to escape, and she cooked for us all the time, and she would like have me help her cook. And so I feel like she's the one. And my mom's dad was also a great cook, but she lived with us, so I feel like she was the one that has a lot of my like childhood associations with it. And I mean, my mom would cook a lot of other stuff, but my grandmother was like, it's Persian dishes. It's not always rice and tahdig, but most of the time that's involved. And even to like Thanksgiving became a controversial thing because she would want to make a Persian rice dish for Thanksgiving, and everyone was like, no, this is the one day we eat American food. And then as we grew up, we're like, all we want is the Havic polo, which is a version of rice with like carrots and raisins, and the tahdig, which she felt like was very autumn colors and appropriate for the holiday.
She's not wrong.
Yeah, she's not wrong. It was so
She's
good.
like, from an aesthetic standpoint, this is going to be amazing. You're going to love it.
Everyone's going to want it.
Well, and the flavors too that you just mentioned sound fantastic. I mean, I love that. Very autumnal. From a visual, a taste.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Grandma was totally right.
Yeah. And then kateh is just like you soak the rice and then you do it all in one pot and the bottom gets crispy and you flip it. And the flip is an art form. It's a real showstopper. You know, if anyone's around, it's fun. People love watching you flip that pot of rice onto a plate and just seeing a little golden cake.
Well, of course, to better understand and appreciate our food, we've got to know where it came from. Every cuisine has its crown jewel. The French have their baguettes, the Japanese have their perfectly crafted sushi, and then there's Iran, where the crown isn't worn on top but lives at the bottom of the pot. Today, we're diving into the golden, crackling, outrageously coveted world of tahdig, the crispy golden crust that forms at the bottom of Persian rice. It's part technical triumph, part family heirloom, and part culinary obsession. But where did this iconic crust come from? How did it become one of the most celebrated elements of Iranian cuisine? And why are so many people across generations and continents still obsessed with getting it just right? Let's get into a story of fire, flavor, and the bottom of the pot that became top tier. Tahdig, as a word, literally means, Ruha, do you know the translation?
I'd love to hear it.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you, you've already said it. It's
crispy
bottom of the pot.
Bottom of the pot, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds humble, almost dismissive, like something scraped off in resignation. But in the Iranian kitchen, tahdig is anything but an afterthought. Imagine a pot of rice that's been slow steaming for about an hour. When it's flipped, if you've done everything right, a crispy golden brown layer of rice slides out in one piece like a crunchy rice disc. Its sound is unmistakable, a dry, satisfying crack when broken, often followed by gasps of admiration from the dinner table. Cue the social media ASMR with a knife being grazed across the top to give it that satisfying, crispy sound. Now, Ruha, you mentioned the flip being a big deal. Have you ever encountered a mishap?
I mean, we've all had a little bit of a mishap when it comes to tahdig.
What happens?
But it's basically a foolproof, as far as I'm concerned, thing. I mean, a mishap will be it doesn't come out. It doesn't slide right out, but usually you can still just get a wooden utensil and like get it out and it's there. So, but honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if that's ever happened. And sometimes I don't even go for the flip. If I'm just at home and I made a little pot of rice, I'm just like crunch, crunch, crunch and scoop it out, like I'm going to eat some of this and then put the rest. But I'm like, oh, people are here. I'll get a plate and we'll flip.
Yes. More for the show for others. If it's just for you, you're like, it's fun. Fine. I know what it looks like.
Yeah. I think it's mostly when it's just me. I'm like, well, I'm just going to put it in I'm going to eat a little. I'm going to put the rest in a container for the fridge. I'm not going to dirty an extra plate to flip it. But and then, sometimes you're trusting your instincts and the techniques you've been taught. And by instincts, I mean, trust your nose. But every once in a while, there's it's a little burnt. And sometimes it gets a little more burnt than you would like.
And if there is, if it does get to what some might consider too burnt, do we just say, forget it, it's fine, no problems, move on and eat it? Or is it like, I cannot?
There's a combination. You try it and you see if it's edible. Okay. And sometimes it's lovely and it's darker than you wanted it, but it's very edible. And other times you say, no, this is bad for me. It's fully burnt. And then you just say goodbye to that part. And then you make fresh tahdig because it's very easy to do tahdig with leftover rice. It's not as good as original tahdig, but it's pretty good. pretty
Yeah,
good.
salvageable. Yeah. Very accepting. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Well, rice is only the beginning. Tahdig isn't a single recipe, as you mentioned. It's a technique. And what forms the base, the crust, can vary. Most commonly, tahdig is pretty much synonymous with rice, also known as chelo, which is the way and texture the rice is cooked with a crispy top. But you can put many other ingredients at the bottom of the pot with the rice on top to create that same crispy effect. So you did start to mention some of these, and I was like, oh, yep, I definitely have an expert on my hands, of course, obviously. But we can go through a few of some of these different variations. You can use thin sheets of lavash or a sangak bread for a crunchy, toasty bottom. Thinly sliced potatoes yield a crisp, golden brown, akin to French palm anna. A mix of rice and yogurt or eggs, sometimes blended with saffron, creates an extra creamy, crunchy hybrid. Even vegetables like lettuce or onions are used in creative home kitchens. So, in a sense, while tahdig is mostly popularly known and eaten as an all-rice dish, it's a moment, a dramatic, show-stopping, flavor-packed finale born out of care and attention, kind of like a Persian kitchen's mic drop. To understand tahdig, we have to understand how rice arrived in Iran and what it meant once it got there. While wheat and barley were the dominant grains in ancient Persia, rice arrived relatively late. Archaeological and historical evidence suggests that rice began appearing in the Iranian plateau during the Achaemenid Empire from 550 to 330 BCE, likely introduced through trade with the Indian subcontinent or Eastern Asia. The routes were well worn by then, part of the complex networks of the Silk Road. However, rice didn't become a staple across all of Iran immediately. It was initially considered a luxury item, more common in northern provinces like Mazandaran and Gilan, where the wet subtropical climate favored rice cultivation. In these regions, rice eventually became integral to local diets and rituals. By the 10th century, Persian cookbooks and poetry reference rice not only as a staple food, but also as a symbol of hospitality, refinement, and ceremonial life, representing generosity, celebration, and social honor in Persian culture. Ruha, rice was considered a luxury. Are there any items or things in your life today that you would consider a luxury that you love or cannot live without?
My bidet.
Okay. That's a good one.
Number one.
Yes. Number one with a bullet. That's the one.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Which also is a luxury that I think should be available to everyone. I don't think anyone should ever have to go to the bathroom without one.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you go to like a hotel or something that doesn't have one, are you like deal breaker? Or like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I traveled a lot when I was younger, but since having celiac and I am very in love with my cat and I don't like to leave her, I travel a lot less. But no, it hasn't been a deal breaker. I haven't even thought about it. But more recently, I'm like, man, I do think the next time I took a trip, I would try to see if I could get a place that had one. That would be nice.
Call ahead. Do you have a bidet?
Yeah.
No, goodbye. Yeah.
And the
Okay.
last time I went to New York, like the last trip I took, which was already a couple years ago, there was one.
There was. Okay.
Yeah.
Way to go,
So,
New York. Do
yeah.
they make, and if not, maybe this is something that should be, I don't know, we'll patent it here, but do they make like a travel bidet? Is that like a thing? Like, is there a way?
I don't
Like
know.
some
I'm
kind of
not packing
attachment?
it.
Can you imagine going through TSA? Excuse me, what is this?
Well,
my
it's something
travel
everyone
bidet.
should have, but doesn't.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
bought it.
Yeah.
No,
You
I
know,
doubt
it's-
it. Because also,
Okay.
you know, I think there has to be like electricity set up by it and water. Like there
And,
has
like,
to be a way to
plumbing
connect.
involved.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
It was an idea. Not all ideas are
Hey,
great, but
you know
an
what?
idea
I think
nonetheless.
take it to Shark Tank, develop it, and maybe
Yeah.
maybe there's something there.
Back to our rice. Before you get to the golden crunch, you've got to start with the grain, and not just any grain. When it comes to tahdig, the rice has to be long grain, aromatic, and with enough backbone to hold its shape after a steam bath and shallow fry. The most traditional variety is Sadri rice, grown in northern Iran. This region is basically Iran's rice belt, and they've been growing there for centuries. Sadri is known for its fragrance, delicate flavor, and its ability to go fluffy on top while crisping on the bottom like a dream. It's the kind of rice that makes you feel like you've just done something right in life. Then there's domsia, literally meaning blacktail, named for the little dark spot on the end of the grain. Domsia brings bold aroma and satisfying chew. Now, if you're not in Iran and can't get your hands on those heirloom varieties, don't panic. Aged basmati is the go-to in the diaspora, and it does the job beautifully. The aging process reduces the moisture content, which helps the grain stay separate and not clump. Today, tahdig is still how many Iranians judge a cook's skill, and it all starts with picking the right rice. Ruha, I've heard, oh, Nix.
We have a visitor.
Our special guest.
The other luxury in my life I can't live without.
Oh, what a beauty. I've heard that this is a thing where, based on how well somebody makes tahdig, can be like a make or break in a relationship. Is there truth to this? Do you have any thoughts on this?
I believe that.
You do?
I think it's funny, but I'm not surprised that would be a thing. I don't have any experience with it. I mean, I guess people do love my tahdig. I feel like Persian people are very particular, and they would just be like, oh, you don't know how to make tahdig. That's not going to work.
Well, by the Safavid period, 1501 to 1736, rice became an important part of royal and upper-class meals. Over time, Persian cooks developed unique regional styles in preparing rice, paying close attention to flavor, cooking techniques like steaming, and beautiful presentation. As for tahdig, while early records don't name it explicitly, there is compelling evidence that the crusty bottom layer of rice was intentionally cultivated as part of Persian culinary technique by the time of the Qajar dynasty, 1789 to 1925. In cookbooks from the late 19th century, like Sofreya at Ameh, one of the earliest Persian language printed cookbooks, the steaming and crust forming method of rice preparation is described in great detail, revealing a long practiced culinary art. Now, tahdig isn't believed to have been created by accident. Unlike how many foods and dishes come to be, it's not the result of someone forgetting rice on the stove, as far as we know. It's an intentional alchemy, and it takes serious skill. Now, you gave us a great foreshadowing into how it all goes down, and so I will just go ahead and put it all together for us. You rinse and soak the rice to remove excess starch and encourage fluffy, separate grains. Parboil it in salted water until it's al dente. Drain and cool the rice slightly. Meanwhile, in a heavy bottom pot, heat oil, sometimes blended with butter or ghee and saffron, and lay down the crust layer. In this case, it's going to be rice, but we learned you can use bread, potato, or other ingredients. Layer the rest of the rice into a cone-shaped mound to encourage airflow and poke some small, shallow holes to let the steam escape. Place a damponi, aka a cloth-wrapped lid, on top and steam gently for about an hour undisturbed. Now, nerd alert with a little food science. The crust forms because of a Maillard reaction. It is a chemical browning process that occurs when heat, fat, and amino acids interact. Think the browning of bread during toasting, the crust on a seared steak, roasted coffee, those crispy edges on cookies. But it's fragile. Too much heat, you're burnt. Too little, no crunch. You've got to get that tahdig Goldilocks effect. In Persian homes, the pot flip is its own moment of suspense and celebration. Everyone gathers, someone utters a hopeful prayer. The cook, heart pounding, maybe a little sweat above the brow, inverts the pot onto the platter, and if it releases cleanly, in the illustrious words of Lady Gaga, the applause, applause, applause. In Persian culture, tahdig is love, made edible. If you're served tahdig, especially if you're a guest, it's a big deal. It means you're being honored, trusted, and cared for. And tahdig, it's often the most sought after part of the meal. When it comes out time to serve, many hosts will theatrically break out the tahdig into wedges, pass them around like slices of cake, and if you're the honored guest, you'll bet you'll be receiving the crispiest piece. The role of tahdig also extends to major life events. Nowruz, the Persian New Year, often features elaborate rice dishes, and no rice dish is complete without tahdig. In fact, cookbook authors like Naz Daravian devote significant attention to tahdig. Naz writes in her cookbook titled Bottom of the Pot that tahdig is the golden jewel of Persian cooking, not only because of its color and crunch, but because it represents effort, patience, and perfection. Ruha, tahdig is referred to as the golden jewel of Persian cooking. But if you were to come up with your own tagline for it, what would it be?
I find it to be an art form Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think all cuisine to some degree is art. I find that Persian cooking isn't the kind of thing you can just taste and make. It is this like really elaborately thought out process. So, yeah, I guess I would call it the Mona Lisa of the rice pot.
I love it.
Which is funny because I don't know if Mona Lisa is even my favorite painting, but it feels like the one that people would know to be a tagline for it.
Well, Tahdig isn't just thriving in Iran. In recent years, it's become a global food darling. In Los Angeles, home to the largest population of Iranians outside of Iran, Persian restaurants like Shamshiri Grill, Darya, Sadaf, and Gino's Pars feature Tahdig paired with stews like gomer sabzi or pheasantjun. Food critics sing its praises. Diners take to social media to document their first Tahdig like it's a rite of passage. Even beyond traditional Persian kitchens, Tahdig has been adapted and reimagined. From Brooklyn to London, you can find potato Tahdig. On TikTok, people attempt instant pot hacks, air fryer experiments, and sometimes riffs using, just like you, pasta or macaroni. For the diaspora, Tahdig has become a cultural bridge, a way to preserve identity, share heritage, and connect generations. Recipes are passed down, pots are inherited. Tahdig reminds us that the best things often take time, that sometimes what's hidden at the bottom, out of sight, holds the most reward. It teaches patience, presence, and maybe a little bit of perfectionism. But most of all, it's a delicious celebration of contrast, soft and crisp, humble and majestic, ancient and new. A golden crown worn on the underside of the pot. Ruha, what do you think about the backstory of Tahdig?
I think it's so great because honestly, it's nice to learn a little bit about a thing that's just like part of cultural family growing up, but I've never done a deep dive on it. So it's cool to hear about some of the history and like that the fact that rice wasn't even introduced in the area until I know that's still a long time ago, but until later. But to know that now I would call it the absolute like heart of the cuisine. It's hard to name any Persian food that rice isn't involved with. So that's cool.
Yeah, it may not have originated there, but it was fully embraced and then became such an integral part of life. It was like, how did we ever live without this? Which is, it's kind of beautiful and amazing. Well, while it may not have been splashed everywhere, Tahdig has still shown up in pop culture. Now, how I was first introduced to Tahdig was from the Bravo show Shahs of Sunset, which premiered in 2012. The show follows a group of Persian American friends in Los Angeles as they navigate their glamorous social lives, careers, and the pressures of traditional family expectations, along with loads and loads of drama. Have you seen this show before?
I didn't watch it. I would watch it now though. If there was a place to watch it, I'd be like, yeah, let's see what's up. I remember at the time. Oh, overall, I'm like my only person I know who mostly watches scripted narrative as opposed to reality television.
Sure, you're probably better for it, but it is oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, people love it and that's cool. I'm just very into actually fictional stuff.
And that's okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, today you can find shows somewhere for sure. I would be interested to hear your view on it because you're in LA, correct?
I am in LA and I know that they were in LA and some of my family watched it or talked about it. I maybe saw like clips a couple times. I was on an improv team that turned into Boos Boos, which means kiss kiss. But when we first started, we were doing this Persian Nowruz show at UCB Sunset when UCB Sunset existed. And we called ourselves the Shahs of UCB Sunset. So
I like it.
But then like, UCB Sunset was gone. So I'm kind of involved if you think about it.
Yeah, totally. There's less than 6 degrees of separation there for sure. Yeah, it is a bit of a brain rot, but to be very fair, I did learn a lot about Iranian and Persian culture through that show. So I mean, listen, if nothing else, there's a bit of a hidden educational component there. So I don't know, if you find it, let me know your thoughts. Tahdig Lover, founded by Sahar in 2018, started as an Instagram page born from her passion for the golden crispy rice crust. What began as rice inspirations and live sessions with Iranian and international chefs quickly evolved into a specialty online shop offering purpose-built pots, tools, and premium ingredients like saffron and barberries, designed to help home cooks perfect Persian and Middle Eastern dishes, especially Tahdig. Major outlets from the New York Times to Bon Appetit have done explainer pieces on Tahdig, and there are over 50,000 tags on Instagram and videos all over TikTok making Tahdig at home. Are there any other moments in pop culture that you can think of where Tahdig has made a cameo, or any final words that you have about your favorite food?
I'm trying to think about the pop culture thing. I do know that it had, like, social media has an influence even on my family. Like, my mom made a romaine lettuce tahdig that I think she saw on TikTok, you know?
Wow. That's cool. Did she enjoy it? What did she think?
It was good. She made it for us when we went over.
Oh, what did you think?
It was interesting. It was interesting.
Okay.
It was good. All tahdigs are good. All
Okay. Never had a bad tahdig.
I've never had a bad tahdig. The only bad ones are too burned. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a nice, interesting flavor and texture, and yeah, it was cool. I'm sure that there's other moments of tahdig. I'm like scanning my brain right now, but
okay.
nothing's coming to mind. Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Are there any parting words that you have for your favorite food?
I'll love you forever. Thank you for existing.
That's beautiful. Ruha, thank you so much for joining me to talk about Tahdig and helping me to tell its story.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a nice time to celebrate and learn more about my favorite food.
Thanks for watching. You can find links and more info in the description below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. See you next time.